Hi there, I'm Digital Anchor Brandi Smith. The Houston area is huge. We're talking 9 counties that cover more than 9,400 square miles. That's bigger than Connecticut, Delaware, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. Exploring all that is a little daunting, and maybe that's why so many of us tend to stay in our little pocket. But if you're looking to get out of the house and experience something new, here at KHOU 11, we're uncovering our area's hidden gems. From High Island down on Bolivar Peninsula, up to Spring, and all over the place in between, there are so many amazingly unique spots to visit. We're going to start our travels at Lucky Land, a Chinese amusement park right off Airline Drive.
We at Lucky Land.
It is easy to tell.
We started about
that this is Nita Lee's passion.
2014
That's when she and her husband began assembling her dream.
to bring all the stuff.
The stuff came from what used to be the Forbidden Gardens in Katy. When it shut down, Lee brought many of the items to this 2-acre plot.
I just said, this is the treasure. I have to save it.
The adventure at Lucky Land begins before you really even walk through the gates with all of these 3D rooms, places where you can take photos that really stretch the imagination, and then you can share them on social media.
We have all kind of happiness, all kind of how old are you? You will enjoy over here.
Beyond the gate, you can hop on a rickshaw for a quick roll around the park
We preserve everything.
to see the Panda Garden, the Kung Fu statues, the Happy Buddhas, and the models of the Forbidden City and the Terracotta Army.
They see all the culture that another side of the world. And I believe that if people, they know the culture like their neighbor. If you know your neighbor, you know how they do, how they're living, and then you can be friends.
It's a message that may be more important now than ever before.
I'm so proud.
For Nita, Lucky Land is a way to connect with her Houston neighbors, and for those neighbors to learn a little bit about the rich history of her culture.
I come here every day. I'm so happy and exciting.
Want to check Lucky Land out like these folks did? It's open Tuesday through Sunday. Admission is $5 for kids, $10 for adults, and $7 for seniors. If you're looking for more information, we've got it on KHOU.com. Now, what about if you're looking for a romantic spot to take your special someone, maybe for pictures or that all-important question? The Lovelock Bridge over Allen Parkway is one option.
The feeling that you get when you get on the bridge is just blissful. I could actually feel the love of other people that had been there prior to me going there.
And there were many before unique triplet surprised her wife with a visit last fall.
She was like, whoa, what is this? And I was like, this is the Lovelock Bridge. And we get to, add our little piece of history to it, get to add our own little lock.
The lock is simple, marked with a heart.
Brass lock,
Jessica and Damien
red glitter glue,
added some sparkle to theirs.
and it was near the gap where you could see downtown in the fence.
That view adds another layer of love.
It's not only the love of yourself, the love of your partner, but love of the city of Houston. And to be able to get to see it while you're on the bridge is amazing.
All of that makes this a photographer's dream.
I've always wanted to go to Paris and go to the Lovelock Bridge. And when I found out it was one here, I was like, oh my God, let's do it.
Now that Jessica and Damien secured their love here,
Hopefully one day, we'll be able to go back with our own kids and find our lock and put a little lock on that one, like a family thing. So,
but in the meantime, they will keep looking for more semi-secret spots like Houston's Lovelock Bridge.
Being native Houstonians and just learning about it, I just encourage everybody to go out there and explore the city, no matter how long you've been here. We're constantly finding new little niche things to do and see, and it makes you fall in love with the city again.
Okay, so where exactly is the bridge? This is on the eastern edge of Buffalo Bayou Park, not far from Sabine Street. Now, there is another Lovelock Bridge in the park as well, but it doesn't have nearly as many locks, at least not yet. At those bridges, you can write your own history, but if you want to learn about Houston's history, there's so many options. Do you know where you can find a recipe for gold, a rusting spaceship? How about a building that croaks like a frog? Believe it or not, all of that and so much more is at Rice University. Let me show you around with the help of Greg Marshall, the Director of Community Relations.
I get to welcome people to Rice.
A lot of tours, I bet.
A lot of tours.
Greg was kind enough to take me on one around a campus peppered with lots of surprises. Let's start at the start. What is now called Lovett Hall.
It's the first building built on the Rice campus.
The focal point here is called the Sally Port, this archway. You could spend an entire day examining all of the intricate stonework done by one man, Oswald Lassig. But keep an eye out and up for the freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. Just down the courtyard is Anderson Hall. If you've ever taken a tour of campus, you've probably made a stop at the Frog Wall. And if you've never taken that tour and are wondering, why do they call it that? Well, that's why.
Students came along and realized if you run your finger down the hole, it makes a kind of a Bronx cheer kind of sound. I've heard it described as the frogs that they might have had on campus at one point.
From making sound to making gold, this is an enigma, a kind of riddle used by alchemists that purports to decree the recipe to make gold. Symbols are also an important feature on Duncan Hall. Built in 1996, the architect described his idea for the home of the Rice University Electrical and Computer Engineering program as a spaceship just touched down, but ready to take off at any moment. It is definitely out of this world. One of so many buildings here with stories and secrets.
People are very attached to the architecture.
So this isn't exactly a hidden gem, but it is a really cool feature. All of the bricks used in Rice buildings, they come from the same quarry in Louisiana, and this is known as the Rice palette. These aren't painted, it's the natural colors. There's a whole lot more campus history. You can watch the extended version of that story on our KHOU 11 YouTube page. Just look for the Hidden Gems playlist. Now, the best part about checking out the Rice campus is that it is totally free. It's open to the public, so you might want to time your visit so you can also stop by James Turrell's Twilight Epiphany Sky Space. It's an art installation that's part of a series, but is also completely unique.
Some artists might work with paint on canvas or others with bronze and sculpture. James Turrell's innovation is that he perceives light as the medium of the artwork.
Twice a day at sunrise and sunset, you can see the artist's work on display.
What you'll experience as the light shifts in the environment surrounding the sky space, there is a specially programmed artwork that projects onto the ceiling of the structure, and the colors of those lights slowly change at the same time the sun either rises or sets.
Only the occasional bird disrupts the illusion that the sky is part of the ceiling, changing color and saturation constantly in that transition between dark and light.
And the perception that you have, I think, makes you see the world differently.
Turrell created more than 85 sky spaces all over the world, some in existing buildings, some as their own structure. This, though, is the only two-story sky space and was the first built to inspire innovative combinations of music and visual art. It's also the most accessible to the public.
For us, it's an incredibly important way to welcome the public to the campus and to our community.
The Houston Museum of Natural Science is definitely a gem, but it's also not exactly hidden. So why am I mentioning it? Because it has a feature that is hidden in plain sight. Foucault's pendulum.
What's really cool is that it's only connected to the earth at one point. And when you go look at the pendulum, you just look up, look up, look up, look up. 60 feet up there, it's connected.
That explains why it goes back and forth, but the most mind-blowing part is how it knocks down these pins.
The earth now is turning under the pendulum.
Enough for the pendulum to slowly make its way between pins, dropping half of them each day.
The pendulum's trying to behave. It's trying to stay in the same plane. but the earth is turning under it.
Where in the world you hang one of these changes its trajectory.
At the poles, north and south, pendulums work great. At the equator, they don't at all.
There are at least 6 Foucault's pendulums in Texas and dozens more worldwide in places like Chile, Spain, Tokyo. And though the saying goes everything's bigger in Texas, that doesn't apply here. The largest Foucault's pendulum has a 900-pound bob hanging from a 70-foot cable, and it's in Oregon.
People tend to respect it because it's pretty. It's very elegant.
They don't just respect it. Back at the Houston Museum of Natural Science, they get mesmerized by it.
We have no exhibit that has the hang time of this one, where people are just sitting there waiting for a pin to drop.
Then when it does, the pendulum is a permanent exhibit at the museum. Admission is $16 for kids, $25 for adults, though the museum does offer free entry during certain hours on Thursdays. You can check hmns.org for specifics. Now, when we started this Hidden Gem series, I knew exactly the spot in my neighborhood that I wanted to share with people. It's a park on Houston's east side that is about to get a big makeover so neighbors can really get in touch with nature.
Jaffet Creek is a little tributary that heads up from Buffalo Bayou into the Fifth Ward neighborhood. So it's special because it's really one of the only places that the Fifth Ward can really connect with Buffalo Bayou right now.
Connecting with the bayou means connecting with nature, even if that happens to be smack dab in between metal recycling yards on Clinton Drive. At the intersection with Emile, if you keep an eye out, you'll see the park's iron sign. There's a good-sized parking lot so you can get out and explore the creek's lush surroundings. There's even a short trail through the park and plenty of opportunities to sit and check out the view.
We want to make sure that people are able to come and enjoy it.
That's why Buffalo Bayou Partnership has Jaffet Creek on its to-do list, just shining up this hidden gem a little. The project is part of the Buffalo Bayou East Master Plan,
to really just clean up this site and make it accessible, more accessible for community members.
The master plan's goal is to connect Buffalo Bayou Park to the Port of Houston turning basin with more trails and green spaces.
And in Buffalo Bayou Park, people can see how, accessing the bayou and the waterfront is really a very special amenity. So we can't wait to expand that throughout the entire 10 miles from Shepherd to the port.
The partnership isn't wasting any time. Work on Jaffet Creek Park is slated to start soon.
You should actually be able to see some progress by the end of this year.
So this is a hidden gem in my neighborhood. We want to know about the ones you love. Email me, bsmith@khou.com, or tag KHOU11 on social media. That's how we found out about the Lovelocks Tree in spring. Valeria reached out on Instagram to tell us about it. And what started out as something to make people smile is having a much deeper impact.
It just was a crazy idea after seeing Lovelocks put on the strangest places. I just thought, we've got to have something in spring. We didn't have a bridge and we didn't have a river.
What Kelly Spear did have was a 100-year-old tree standing outside Lana Williams Gallery.
We just thought, well, we'll wrap it with some fencing and see what happens.
This is what happened. Hundreds of people latched onto the idea.
I never dreamed it would take off like it did.
Including Ana and Vicente Viñas. On February 10th of last year, they were walking through Old Town when he spotted the tree.
He asked me to stop in the store. He went and bought a lot. And we didn't put no more attention to it. And we were bringing it on Valentine's Day to put it on.
But then the winter storm hit, keeping the couple at home. Ana and Vicente, who was terminally ill, made a new plan. They'd go back to the tree on February 25th, their anniversary.
Then February 24th, he passed away.
Though Ana had lost the love of her life, she still had a symbol of that love. The lock he painted for her.
He did it with so much love because at that time he knew he was getting worse. He wanted to leave something for me.
So on March 24th, 2021, Ana and her grandson returned to the tree.
And it's beautiful.
to hang this small reminder of that enduring love.
We just don't want to forget him.
That was the whole point, just to make people smile.
And it's certainly working, maybe a little too well. Kelly says the tree's about full and she's looking for new places to put locks since this one has been so popular. Now, you can find Lovelock monuments in a lot of different places, but the Art Car Parade is uniquely Houston. Every year, dozens of examples of art on wheels roll through downtown. And you don't have to wait for the parade to check out art cars, though. When Anne and Jim Harithis opened the Art Car Museum in 1998, they
wanted there to be a place that you could come see art cars year-round.
The exhibits are always a mix of more traditional fine art and the kind on wheels.
Art cars are a uniquely new American art form. They should be shown with fine art because they are fine art. In this case, Harold Boudier is the artist featured here in the museum. It's a solo show, and we wanted to have some cars that complemented that, so all the cars are metal.
They are Phantoms, the Batwing, and Sig's Kill.
There's all kinds of art cars.
You can see examples in photos of past exhibitions at the museum.
There are people that just feel compelled, driven, to decorate their cars, to customize them.
Anne Harithis was one of those people.
She was very involved in just the whole art car scene and helping just support artists, and she has done several of her own art cars.
She passed away in December. To honor her, parade organizers at the Orange Show announced the Anne Harithis Legacy Award. And
we are having 10 of our museum-owned art cars at the beginning of the parade.
A fitting tribute to a woman who not only embraced, but celebrated Houston's unique art car culture.
We're all grateful she walked the planet with us.
KHOU 11 originally aired that story just before the parade in April. If you want to learn more about those cars, Phantom, the Batwing, and Sig's Kill, we have short vignettes on each one on our KHOU 11 YouTube channel. The same organization that puts on the Art Car Parade owns Houston's iconic beer can house. Right in the middle of Houston's Rice Military neighborhood, in between new townhomes, you will find this 1930s home, and I think it's pretty clear how it got its name.
This is the work of a man named John Milkovich. He was a working class dude. He was an upholsterer for the Southern Pacific Railroad. And this is what he did as a pastime.
A pastime that took a lot of time, decades actually, to transform this into this.
What he told friends was he got sick of mowing the lawn and he got tired of painting the house, so he covered his lawn with concrete, studded with marbles and rocks. And then it just spread from there.
Neighbors must have thought he'd lost his marbles.
Something his wife Mary liked to joke about.
When he started lining his house with flattened beer cans.
He would do it one row at a time while his wife Mary was away working at the cosmetics counter at Foley's. Like she wasn't gonna notice if he did it slowly.
Though the color's fading, you can still make out some of the brands. Texas Pride, Buckhorn, Shiner, Falstaff. Non-flattened versions of the cans are on display inside the house, along with John's work desk and tools.
If you go inside, you will see things like all of the original fixtures and hangings, the original paint colors. It's like a little time capsule in there.
All the details preserved, even the tile he hand cut.
You know, for him, this wasn't any kind of highfalutin conceptual art. He was just a guy doing something in his spare time.
John never considered it art, but the Orange Show does.
We preserve these kinds of visionary art environments. We see value in a place like this where others might not.
The nonprofit knows you might not visit the beer can house for its art.
But secretly you're enjoying art while you're here, even if you don't realize it.
Just as John likely never realized his pastime would mesmerize generations of Houstonians.
For a guy like that who really just wanted to enjoy his life in his backyard and have a good time, for him to leave something like this behind, I just think it's so cool and wonderful.
Admission to the Beer Can House is $5. Right now it's only open for tours on the weekends, but if you're looking for a place to go really anytime, I'm talking dawn to dusk, 365 days a year, head down to the Smith Oaks Bird Sanctuary in High Island.
We are in High Island
at Smith Oaks Sanctuary.
Not an actual island. It is not surrounded by water. It's surrounded by marsh and coastal prairie.
But because it's 30 feet above sea level, this island, not island, stands out.
It's particularly important for migrating songbirds who have spent their winters in Central and South America.
In the spring, they head north. Their last stop before here, the Yucatan Peninsula. That's about 600 miles.
High Island is a beacon of habitat, so we manage our sanctuaries for birds to be able to drop in, rest, refuel, get a drink of water, and continue on their journey.
It's also a spot for these birds to raise their families.
The rookery does get full this time of year. Lots of activity, lots of noise, lots of baby birds being born.
Lots of interest from birders all around the world.
We get visitors from 48 different states and 20 different countries,
who fill up social media with the pictures they capture here.
Even if you're not a birder, this might turn you into a birder.
Smith Oaks is one of 4 bird sanctuaries managed by Houston Audubon in High Island.
It's a great place to be outdoors and just enjoy a beautiful day like today and see some cool things.
The peak time to visit is in the spring, so you can see all the birds come through, but there's plenty of other wildlife to see the rest of the year. This is just a sampling of the critters spotted at Smith Oaks. The critters that call the KHOU Bridge home are pretty well known here in Houston, but there's another prominent bat colony in our area. It's at the Fight Bridge in Pearland.
Bats kind of get a bad rap.
They only come out at night, which makes them mysterious. Vampire movies don't exactly help either. But Suzanne Jurek with the Houston area bat team wants people to know.
These guys are such an important part of our environment.
With Jurek as a guide, I paid a visit to Fight Bridge to see who was home.
This bridge has a colony of Mexican free-tail bats. Now, previously we've had more than 10,000 bats in this bridge. We're not up to that size right now, but it will rebuild and we'll have that size again at some point.
The bats live in the crevices of the bridge, and you can tell which ones are really full.
These guys eat so many insects in a night. For example, the KHOU colony is about 250 to 300,000 bats, and they eat 2 tons of insects every night. Now, so this is going to be a smaller colony eating a smaller amount of insects, but they provide amazing pest control for us.
This viewing platform off Magnolia, right across from the Nature Center, is the safest spot to watch the bats emerge. Just after sunset, the whole colony will drop out of their respective crevices to go find dinner.
There are bats that are fruit eaters, that are great seed dispersers. There are bats that are pollinators, they are nectar eaters. And if you like a tasty margarita every now and then, you're going to really like bats, because bats are what pollinate the agave plant, which is used to make tequila.
Cheers to that and to bats. This is just a sampling of some of the hidden gems we've highlighted here on KHOU 11. To watch them all, be sure to check out the Living in the Lone Star Hidden Gems playlist on our YouTube channel or our Fire TV and Roku apps. If you visit one of them, let us know. Here's what you do. You go to the Near Me section of the KHOU 11 app, upload up to 3 photos or 1 video, share where you took them, hit upload. It is that easy. And finally, if you have a hidden gem we need to explore, tell us about it. You can email me at bsmith@khou.com. Let me know where it is and what makes it special. Now get out there, explore these hidden gems.